Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another segment of Small School Athletic Director on the Educational AD Podcast. This is our weekly series where we spend time with athletic directors from smaller schools, which our definition is 300 students or less at the high school level, and they share their tips and tricks for success at the small school level. So, as always, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Now, don't hit that fast forward button. We'll be right back with today's small school guest. We want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack for their support of the podcast. At my school, we use surveys for just about everything: kids, coaches, parents, you name it. And the feedback that came back was just incredibly valuable for us, especially when we were meeting with a frustrated parent or student athlete, or even our principal or school board. And athletic directors already hear back from the complainers, but Athletic Surveys is also going to connect you to the 98% of your stakeholders that support your program. And that information, as I said, is very, very valuable. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. athleticsurveys.com. We also want to say thanks to Home Campus. Home Campus is a platform that you're going to use every single day for things like scheduling, uploading rosters, student athlete eligibility and clearance. Who doesn't do that every day? Go to homecampus.com to get started. That's it. Homecampus.com. You're going to be glad you did. We also want to say thanks to Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Go to their website, vitalsignswalloffame.com, and take a look at their interactive touchscreen video consoles. It's a great way to show off your school record boards or your school's Hall of Fame, and also tell your school's unique history and share your proudest moments. The website is vitalsignswalloffame.com. Check them out today. We also want to thank Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. Go to hometownticketing.com. It's digital ticketing that offers more support, more security, and more customization. A Hometown team is here to help you make the best online ticketing solution. We'd like to thank Ohio University's online Masters in Athletic Administration. This affordable 20-month MAA program focuses exclusively on interscholastic athletic administration. And when you finish, you're not only going to have your master's degree, you're going to have 11 NIAAA leadership training courses to go towards your RAA or your CAA. You're also going to be part of a nationwide network with connections in athletics across the country. To get started, go to ohio.edu/info/MAA. We'd like to say thanks to Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but when I became an athletic director, I wanted a platform that was going to work for all of our sports, and Huddle came through like a champ. Our coaches loved it, our parents, our student athletes loved it, and you're going to love it too. Go to huddle.com, join the 8 million users. Turn your school into a Huddle school. We'd also like to thank Gipper. You know, these days it's all about promoting your teams on social media. And if you're not doing it, you're really missing out. Go to Gipper.com. Their team will have you creating professional quality social media graphics in seconds. In fact, it's so easy, even I can do it. Gipper's used and trusted by over 4,000 high school and college programs. It's professional graphic design made simple. Go to Gipper.com to get started. We'd like to thank Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and you can schedule a live web demo to see their scoreboards and their score tables in action. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. That's sidelineinteractive.com. And we want to say thanks to Snap. If you've ever spent weeks and weeks with a fundraiser and been frustrated with your results, stop right here. Go to snapraise.com. Hands down, the best online fundraiser out there. We used it at our school with tremendous success because it works. Go to snapraise.com. You can check out their other great platforms. But if you're looking for a fundraiser, you found it. Go to snapraise.com to get started. Welcome back, everybody, to another segment of Small School Athletic Director on the Educational AD Podcast. We've had a lot of fun with this new segment, and here we are with episode number 7 of Small School. And we're going to Illinois to visit with Brian Mancuso. He is a certified master athletic administrator, and Brian's the director of athletics at Regina Dominican High School, and that's in Wilmette, Illinois. So, Brian, welcome to Small School AD.
Jake, thanks for having me today. Great to be here today and great to share stories and hear about how everything's going.
Well, for our listeners, we're recording this on May 13th, so it's going to be very timely when you listen to it. Spring is always a very busy time for any athletic director. So, Brian, thanks for taking some time out of your schedule to share with us. Tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and your school setting, and then we'll get into your small school AD experience.
Yeah, Jake, definitely a crazy time for athletic directors. You never really realize how much it rains in the spring until you become an athletic director. So I've been an athletic director since 2011. I was an assistant AD since 2007. I came to Regina Dominican in 2019, the fall of 2019. So about my 5th year here. We are an all-girls school in Wilmette, Illinois, which is a North Shore Chicago suburb. For those of you that know where Evanston is, it's about 10 minutes north of Evanston. So, it's a unique environment, but we have a lot of really good kids who want to do the right thing. And, it really is a small school, but a small school community. And I think that's really important when you're looking at being at a small school, making sure it's a community setting.
Yeah, I had a chance to look at your school's website. Nice job, by the way, on creating all that stuff. Um, what do you have this week to share with our listeners about your small school AD experience and success?
I was at a bigger school before I came here, a bigger public school. So it certainly has been a little bit of a transition coming here. But a couple of things I think that matters. Number one, relationships still matter, and developing and cultivating the relationships, be it with your administrative team or fellow faculty members, your student athletes or boosters. And one thing I would definitely say to smaller school is the fact that you all need to be on the same team. And that's the only way you're going to achieve success. I think in my job, I wear a lot of different hats. Maybe it's being in charge of gym scheduling or buses. But my hand is in a lot of pots, and making sure I have the ability to communicate with the necessary parties. That helps to ensure our entire program, not only athletics but also our school program, has success. The second thing I would say is, in a smaller school setting, you need to be aware that your kids have other interests outside of athletics. We have a rather large fine arts department here at the school, and we encourage our student athletes to be involved in fine arts. And we have kids with jobs, and we have kids that do community service, and then we have kids that are involved in religious aspects of our school. So understanding that kids have a variety of needs, and how can we as an athletic department work with our entire school community to make their dreams happen. That's very, very important, and something that may be a little bit unique for people that aren't as familiar with a smaller school environment.
Looking at your time at Regina, can you share some examples? I'm sure you got a bunch of a student that was successful in the athletic program, but also was involved in some of those, non-athletic activities, clubs, et cetera. Somebody that really sticks out for you.
We had a girl this year. She was our senior class president and student council president, and she worked as a basketball player, a tennis player, a soccer player, and it's been unique watching her develop. Um, her abilities as like a public speaker or a leader off the court versus watching her on the court, where maybe she had more natural leadership abilities. But it's been fun watching her as she's gotten better, and watching her get compliments from our faculty, from our staff, from our fellow students because of her hard work.
Now, school spirit is one of the challenges that any athletic director has to face. And in a smaller school, there's only so many students available to be fans at any given sport, whether it's softball or football or basketball. What are some things that you've done at Regina Dominican to help with student fan support?
It is a very complex problem at a smaller school. Obviously, you do have fewer students. Obviously, being single gender kind of restricts that number as well. And obviously, we offer a lot of sports throughout our year for a school our size. So, understanding that you may not have large attendance at every game, we can't block out every single date as a volleyball only date, for example. Um, but what we can do is pick certain events. Maybe we pick a rivalry volleyball game or rivalry golf match, and let's try to get as many kids as we can to go to that. In the spring, it's very, very difficult, obviously, with weather, but I would say we start the year with a plan. And then also having theme nights and working with our pep club so that they can coexist and work and develop themes that kids buy in. And then obviously when you get to postseason, it becomes a little bit easier because you don't have as many activities. So, let's place importance on the postseason and getting kids out and cheering on their friends. One thing that's really nice in a small school, though, is you don't have the rivalries between sports. Like maybe in a bigger school, I've seen maybe if your basketball team is doing well and your volleyball team is not, there's tension between the sports. But here, everyone cheers for the same team because they're all essentially friends. And that's a very unique thing. And that's something that should be celebrated with our kids.
Oh, absolutely. And looking at, I don't expect exact figures here, but looking at, your student population for the high school, what would you say is the percentage of kids that are two sport athletes? And then the same question for three sport athletes. They do it all year long.
Obviously, like any other school in the country, we're seeing fewer 2 and 3 sport athletes. We see specialization, although it's not as bad here as I've seen in some other places. Um, I always tell people 97% of our kids do something at Regina, meaning
Right.
sports, meaning fine arts, meaning student government. The athletic participation rate for just our overall population is closer to 70%.
Right.
As far as the 2 and 3, you're probably closer, 40 to 20% for three sports. Um, in our senior class, I believe we had 11 three-sport athletes.
Hmm. No, and those are very strong numbers. Obviously, we want our kids involved in as many activities as possible. And you're absolutely right. The year-round kid or the club sports is going to cut into that sometimes. But I want to say the pendulum is gradually swinging back. And hopefully that'll continue that trend. Brian, sounds like you got a great program there at Regina. And if one of our listeners wanted to reach out, find out a little bit more about how you do things, or just add you to their network, what's the best way they can get in touch with you?
I would say start with email, bmancuso@rdpanthers.org. You can also check out our athletic website, reginadominicanpanthers.com, and we can connect that way. Also on LinkedIn as well. So, very easy to access, and I am definitely happy to respond to emails, text calls, whatever.
Well, Brian, thanks again for sharing with our listeners. All the best as you continue to look for those sunny days to reschedule, sometimes for the second or third time, those spring sport activities. And we're going to look forward to seeing you down the road at one of the conferences.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Jake, and thanks for all you do for education-based athletics.
Oh, you're very kind. For our listeners, we appreciate you tuning in. And just a reminder, we upload the Zoom recordings of all of our interviews to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do this every single week and just about every day with new content and best practices on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. Wow, that was a fun one. Please reach out to Brian Mancuso, add him to your network. Before we go, as always, we want to thank all of our sponsors. You've heard me say it many times before. These are companies that I used as an athletic director or have got a direct connection to, and I highly recommend that you do the same. We want to thank Gipper. Go to Gipper.com. We'd like to thank Huddle. Go to Huddle.com. Hometown Ticketing, of course, that's hometownticketing.com. Snap Raise, go to snapraise.com. Vital Signs Wall of Fame, that's going to be vitalsignswalloffame.com. Ohio University Masters in Athletic Administration, go to ohio.edu/info/MAA. We want to thank Home Campus, homecampus.com. Sideline Interactive, that would be sidelineinteractive.com. And Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack, athleticsurveys.com. And we'll throw in K-12 Sports Tech, one of our Wednesday Wisdom sponsors. Hope everybody has a great day. We'll see you next time on Small School AD on the Educational AD Podcast.